"You're pathetic, Jake. I want him to show you what a real man looks like." That's what my wife said, to my face. And then she invited another man into our house. He wasn't there to talk. He wasn't there to argue. He was there for one reason only, to put me down in my own living room, to humiliate me, to make me look weak and worthless while she stood in the corner, laughing, filming, waiting to share it like it was some kind of twisted entertainment. That was her plan, to break me, to erase me, to turn me into nothing more than a sad little clip on her phone. But the thing about plans? They don't always end the way you expect. Let me back up. My name's Jake. I'm 35. Pretty average guy. Work in IT, pay a mortgage, mow the lawn on Saturdays, flip burgers on Sundays. 5 years ago, I thought I hit the jackpot. Met Dana in a bar, sparks flew, moved in fast, married even faster. Everyone said we were perfect. For a while, maybe we were. But lately, something shifted. She pulled away. Her smiles turned into smirks. Her phone was always locked, always face down. She'd leave the room to text. Nights out with friends turned into mornings where she came home looking a little too polished for someone who supposedly stayed late at work. I told myself it was stress, burnout, marriage fatigue, that if I tried harder, dinners, flowers, listening more, she'd come back. But the truth? She was already gone. And she wasn't just leaving me quietly. She wanted to destroy me. One night, I heard her on the phone while she thought I was asleep. She was laughing, that cruel laugh I hadn't heard since high school bullies. And then I caught it, the words that changed everything. "No, I don't just want to leave him. I want him to see it. I want him to feel how useless he is. When you knock him down, I'll be right there recording." She wasn't talking about a divorce. She was talking about me. That's when everything inside me snapped. Because she didn't just want out of the marriage. She wanted a show, a spectacle. My downfall, broadcasted. And that's when I realized I had two options. Walk away, file for divorce, pretend I never knew. Or stay, play along, let her think she had control, and then flip everything back on her. You already know which one I picked. So when I pulled into that driveway on the night she thought would be my end, I wasn't scared. I wasn't clueless. I wasn't her victim. I was ready. And when I opened that door, saw her with him standing behind her, grinning like a predator, I didn't shrink. I smiled back, because I knew something they didn't. This wasn't going to end the way they planned. People think betrayal is a sudden thing. Like you walk in, catch them in the act, and boom, your world explodes. But the truth? Betrayal is slow. It creeps in, one little lie at a time, one skipped kiss, one secret glance at the phone. It builds like rot in the walls until the whole house collapses. That's what it was like with Dana. It started with the phone, always face down, always locked. She used to leave it lying around the kitchen, notifications popping up, no big deal. But then she set a new password, changed her background, took it with her into the bathroom. That was the first crack. Then came the busy nights. She'd say she was with her coworkers, planning some big campaign. Or out with Amber. Always Amber. Her supposed bestie from the office. Funny thing though, every time I ran into Amber at company events, she barely spoke to Dana. Didn't seem like the type to be out all night, giggling over cocktails. But Dana sold the story so well I wanted to believe it. Wanted to tell myself I was crazy. Until I saw her smile. It was a Tuesday. I came home early, and she was sitting on the couch texting. She didn't notice me. She was grinning at her phone like a teenager with a crush. A giggle slipped out, and that sound hit me like a punch in the chest. Because I realized I hadn't heard her laugh like that with me in months. I cleared my throat. "Who you texting?" She jumped, slammed the phone down, and muttered, "Amber." Too quick. Too sharp. It was a lie. I knew it. She knew I knew it. But we both pretended. I walked to the kitchen, grabbed a drink, and stared at the fridge door like maybe it had answers written on it. That night, I couldn't sleep. I scrolled back through our old messages. Months of me sending full sentences, asking how her day was, sending little hearts, trying to keep the spark alive. And her replies? "Okay, cool. Busy." It hit me. I was the only one still in this marriage. And then came the receipts. Literally. A gas station slip stuffed under the car seat. An hour away. Wrong side of town. Paid in cash. A brand of gum she hated. A lip gloss I'd never seen before rolling around the passenger side. She wasn't even hiding it anymore. That's when something in me shifted. I started documenting everything. Time, date, excuse. I built a spreadsheet. Sounds crazy, right? But when you feel your reality slipping, you grab whatever control you can. And numbers? Numbers don't lie. Within 2 weeks, the pattern was obvious. Girls' night always fell on the same evenings. Office deadlines that magically lined up with his days off. It was all there, laid out in black and white. She was seeing someone. Regularly. Repeatedly. But I still didn't know who. And that's when the paranoia really set in. Every time she left, my stomach twisted. Every time she smiled at her phone, my hands shook. I started checking her car, her bags, even her trash. I hated myself for it, but I couldn't stop. Then one night, I remembered something, the old baby monitor in the attic. From when we watched my sister's dog. Camera, audio, night vision. Perfect. I set it up in the living room, behind some books on the shelf, pointed right at the couch. Synced it to an app on my phone. And I waited. The first 2 nights? Nothing. Just Dana watching Netflix alone. But on the 3rd night, while I sat at my desk pretending to work late, I opened the app. And there he was. Tall, muscular, shaved head, covered in tattoos. He strolled into my house like he owned the place. Tossed his jacket on my couch. Opened my fridge. And then Dana walked in. She kissed him like she'd been waiting all day. Hands on his shoulders. Laughing that same giggle I hadn't heard in forever. He dropped onto the couch, kicked his shoes off, and put his feet on my coffee table like it was a hotel lobby. That was the moment I knew. This wasn't a fling. This wasn't an accident. This was a routine. He'd been here before. Many times. My first instinct was to drive home and explode. Scream. Throw him out. Confront her. But instead, I pressed record. Catching them on camera was one thing. But I needed more. Because it wasn't just about her cheating anymore. It was about how far she was willing to go. And something told me, this wasn't just an affair. So the next morning, while Dana was at work, I pulled out her old iPad. She hadn't touched it in years. The screen was cracked, the case peeling. But I remembered her passwords. Dana was lazy like that. She always recycled the same 3. I guessed right on the 2nd try. When the iPad loaded, I synced it to her iCloud. My stomach twisted as I watched the little progress bar fill. And then, boom. Messages. Hundreds of them. All hers. All recent. And what I read made my blood run cold. His name was Marcus. And this wasn't just flirting. These weren't, I miss you texts or last night was amazing. These were cold, calculated conversations. Plans. Step by step. Marcus, he still has no clue. Faced with tears of joy. Dana, I know. He's so blind. Sometimes I almost feel bad. Marcus, don't. He's weak. You deserve better. Dana, not just better. I want him to see it. I want him to know. Then came the part that made me sick. Marcus, what if we just end it one night? In his own house. You record. I'll handle him. Dana, God, yes. Imagine his face when he realizes he's nothing. They weren't just sneaking around. They were plotting. Plotting to humiliate me. To crush me. To make a show out of my pain. I kept scrolling. Screenshots. Deleted photos she thought were gone. Even voice notes. One of her friends was in on it. Hyping her up, saying things like, "You're finally gonna be free. Make it big, girl. Post that video." This wasn't just betrayal. This was entertainment for them. And I wasn't supposed to survive it with any dignity. That night, I couldn't sit still. I installed another camera, this time in the bedroom vent. Motion activated. No blinking light. Completely invisible. I wasn't taking chances. And then I started backing everything up. Cloud drive. External hard drive. Flash drive hidden in my car. If Dana and Marcus thought they could delete evidence, they had no idea how far ahead I was. But I knew I couldn't do this alone. So I texted someone I hadn't spoken to in a while. Dana's sister, Emily. Now, Dana and Emily weren't exactly close. They'd fallen out months ago over money or family drama. I never got the full story. But I always respected Emily. She was sharp, no nonsense, the type who hated liars. So I sent her a simple message. "Can we talk? It's about Dana. It's serious." She replied within 5 minutes. "Finally. Meet me tomorrow. Coffee." The next day, I sat across from Emily in a small cafe. My hands shook as I slid the iPad across the table and showed her the messages. Her eyes scanned them, then widened. "Jesus," she whispered. "She's lost it." I nodded. "It gets worse." I told her about the plan. About Marcus. About the idea of setting me up in my own house. Emily leaned back, speechless for a moment, then said, "She's not just cruel. She's dangerous." Exactly. That's why I need help. Someone on my side. She stared at me, then nodded slowly. Whatever you need. I'm in. I didn't even ask why. Maybe she hated Dana. Maybe she just saw the same evil I did. Or maybe she believed I deserved better. Either way, I had something I didn't have the day before, an ally. And from that moment, the game changed. Finding out about the affair was bad. Reading the messages was worse. But what I uncovered next, that was the point where fear turned into rage. Because now, I had the full plan. Dana and Marcus weren't just sneaking around. They had built a script. I'm talking step-by-step instructions for a night they called the showdown. I'll never forget the messages. Marcus, we'll do it on a Friday. Easier for him to come home early. Less suspicious. Dana, perfect. I'll text him something sweet. Pretend I want to talk. He'll take the bait. Marcus, you set up the wine and candles. Make it look romantic. Then I walk in. Shirt off. Big entrance. Dana, yes. He'll be so confused. And then boom. That's when we take him down. Take me down. That was the language they used. Like it was a wrestling match. Like I wasn't even human, just a target. And then Dana added the part that made me sit back in my chair, shaking my head in disbelief. Make sure I get it all on camera. If he tries to fight back, even better. I want people to see how weak he really is. She wasn't just cheating. She wasn't just betraying me. She wanted to broadcast my humiliation. I read more, scrolling with numb fingers. Marcus, he won't call the cops. Guys like him don't. Too scared of looking pathetic. Dana, and if he does? Please. We just say he started it. Who are they gonna believe? You or him? Faced with tears of joy, she was planning not only the ambush, but the cover-up. She thought she had it all figured out. The story, the angle, the performance. It wasn't just infidelity anymore. It was cruelty. Cold. Surgical. Designed to erase me. They had even set the date. 2 Fridays from now. When I first read it, I felt like my heart was going to beat out of my chest. I couldn't stop picturing it. Me walking through the door, confused, maybe even hopeful, and then being cornered. Her filming. Him attacking. Both of them laughing. For a few minutes, I wanted to curl up and give in. Just walk away. File for divorce. Let them have their ugly little win. But then I remembered her words. Make sure I get it all on camera. She didn't want a divorce. She wanted to ruin me. To post me online like a loser, like a warning sign to other women. Don't marry a guy like Jake. That's when everything inside me hardened. If she wanted a show, I was going to give her one. But it wasn't going to be the one she expected. The first call I made was to my lawyer. I sent him everything, screenshots, recordings, even Marcus's criminal record Emily had dug up. My lawyer's response was short and sharp. Don't confront them yet. Keep building. You're in the driver's seat now. Next, I met Emily again. This time, I showed her the entire showdown plan. Her face went pale. Jake, this isn't just toxic, she said. This is dangerous. She's setting you up. Yeah, I said quietly. That's why we're going to flip it. Emily leaned in. Tell me what you need. That's when it clicked. I wasn't alone anymore. I had an ally. And together, we started planning the counterattack. I upgraded my setup. Hidden cameras in the vents. A voice recorder disguised as a phone charger. A body mic that streamed live to the cloud. Even a backup camera hidden outside the house, in case they tried to smash my gear. If they wanted to stage a spectacle, I was going to let them. But every second would be recorded. Every lie, every move, every fake tear. And best of all, they wouldn't know until it was too late. That week, Dana suddenly turned sweet again. She cooked dinner. She flirted. She touched my hand across the table like we were teenagers in love. It would have been almost convincing if I hadn't already seen the messages. If I hadn't already read her words. I want people to see how weak he really is. So I smiled back. Played the role. Let her think she was winning. Because the truth? She was walking straight into my trap. Once I knew the date, everything shifted. No more guessing. No more paranoia. Now it was a countdown. 2 weeks until the showdown. 2 weeks until my wife and her boyfriend tried to break me. But instead of panic, I felt something else. Control. I started with myself. For months, I'd been living in survival mode. Sleepless nights. Junk food. Stress weighing me down. But now, I needed to be sharp. Alert. Ready. So I cleaned up. Started running again, every morning before work. Not to get ripped, not to impress anyone, but to burn off the shaking nerves. To feel my lungs fill, to remind myself I was still strong. I hit the heavy bag in the garage. I wasn't training to fight Marcus. This wasn't about beating him up. It was about confidence. About reminding myself I wasn't helpless. Every swing was like breaking a chain she'd wrapped around me. And while I trained my body, I trained my mind. Meditation apps, breathing exercises, even a notebook where I wrote down everything I felt. Anger, fear, disgust. The more I wrote, the lighter I felt. Because when you see it on paper, it stops owning you. By the end of the first week, I wasn't just the broken husband anymore. I was the hunter. Next came the legal prep. My lawyer and I built a case like stacking bricks. Texts, recordings, video feeds, even screenshots of the exact date they planned their little show. He called it airtight. Jake, he said on the phone, if this goes to court, she'll lose everything. House, finances, reputation. The fact that she planned it out like this? Judges eat that alive. That gave me comfort. Not because I wanted to ruin her, though she deserved it, but because it meant she wouldn't ruin me. Then there was the tech. I upgraded all my gear. Tiny cameras disguised as smoke detectors. A hidden mic inside a lamp. I even set up a live stream straight to a secure drive so that no matter what happened, I'd have proof. Emily helped too. She covered angles I didn't think of. Bank records, Dana's sudden withdrawals, even Marcus's sketchy side hustles. The guy had a history of violence, a couple of bar fights on record. If he tried anything, the cops wouldn't be asking many questions. She looked me in the eye one night and said, "You've got them, Jake. They think they're writing the script, but you're the director now." She was right. And through it all, I had to keep up the act. At home, Dana turned into sweet wife again. She made lasagna, bought me a new shirt, even suggested a weekend trip after things calmed down. She touched my arm in the kitchen, laughed at my bad jokes, pretended like we were in love again. If I hadn't known the truth, I might have fallen for it. But every time she looked at me with those fake soft eyes, I saw her message in my head. Make sure I get it all on camera. So I played my role, smiled back, kissed her cheek, told her I couldn't wait for Friday night. Inside, I was cold as ice. Because while she was busy setting the stage for my downfall, I was building the stage for hers. The closer the day got, the calmer I felt. It's strange. People think revenge is messy, full of screaming and chaos. But real revenge? It's quiet, patient, cold. By Thursday, the night before the showdown, I wasn't scared anymore. I was ready. Friday wasn't going to be my humiliation. It was going to be hers. Friday night, the night they thought would break me. Dana played her part perfectly. Too perfectly. When I came home, the lights were dimmed. Candles on the table. Wine already breathing in glasses. Soft music in the background. For a second, if I hadn't known better, I might have thought she really wanted to make things right. She met me at the door, smiling in that sweet way I hadn't seen in months. "Hey, babe," she said, her voice dripping honey. "I've been waiting for you." She even kissed me. Quick, gentle, enough to sell the illusion. But I wasn't buying. I walked in, playing my own role. The tired husband. The hopeful fool. I looked around like I was impressed. "Wow, this is nice. What's the occasion?" She giggled, tucking her hair behind her ear. "Just thought we needed a reset, you know? A fresh start." I nodded, sat down at the table, and pretended not to notice the faint buzz from her phone in her pocket. She was waiting for his signal. I took a sip of wine, felt the burn in my throat, and forced a smile. "You're right. Maybe this is what we need." Inside, my pulse was steady, because while she thought she was leading me into a trap, every word was being recorded. And then came the knock. 3 sharp raps on the front door. Dana's eyes lit up for half a second before she caught herself. She glanced at me, feigning surprise. "Oh, I wasn't expecting anyone." "Go ahead," I said casually, sipping my wine. She walked to the door, opened it, and there he was, Marcus. Bigger in person than on camera. Muscles straining his shirt, tattoos crawling up his neck. He smirked the second he saw me, then stepped inside like he owned the place. I put my glass down slowly. Dana? What's going on?" Perfect delivery. Just enough confusion, just enough hesitation. Marcus cracked his knuckles. "What's going on, Jake, is that you're about to learn what a real man looks like." Dana laughed softly, pulling out her phone. "Relax, it's just a little intervention." Intervention. That's what they called it. My hidden cameras caught it all. The vent camera, the smoke detector, even the body mic I'd tucked under my shirt. Every angle, every word. Streaming live, off-site, untouchable. I leaned back in my chair, selling the act. I don't understand. Why are you doing this? Dana smirked. Because you're pathetic, Jake. You've always been pathetic. And now, everyone's going to see it. Marcus took a step closer, looming over me. Stand up. I didn't move. Just stared up at him. Calm. Steady. Stand. Up, he repeated, his voice sharp. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Dana raise her phone, camera pointed at me, recording. And I smiled. Just a flicker. Just enough for myself. Because while they thought this was the climax, I knew it was only the beginning. Marcus grabbed the back of my chair and yanked it, forcing me up. He wanted me scared. Wanted me begging. But I stood tall, meeting his eyes. You sure you want to do this? I asked quietly. He sneered. Yeah, I've been waiting for this. And Dana? She laughed. Actually laughed. Like a kid at the carnival. That sound, the one that used to gut me, now fueled me. Because I knew. Every giggle, every cruel word, every threat was being captured. Saved. Sealed. Ready to destroy them. For a moment, the room felt frozen. Marcus puffing his chest, Dana recording, me standing there in silence. To them, I looked cornered, outnumbered, defeated. But the truth? They were the ones already trapped. And they didn't even know it yet. Marcus shoved me toward the couch, trying to make me stumble. I didn't fight it. I let myself drop onto the cushions, shoulders slouched, eyes wide, selling the role of the beaten man. Dana snickered behind her phone. Look at him, she said, her voice dripping with venom. Doesn't even fight back. This is the guy I married. What a joke. Marcus stood over me, flexing his fists. Tell you what, Jake. Tonight you're gonna learn your place. My place. I repeated softly, as if confused. Perfect. Yeah, he barked. Your wife deserves better than this pathetic excuse of a man. I give her what you never could. Strength. Excitement. A real man. Dana giggled again, moving closer to get a better shot on her phone. Say it, Jake. Say you're nothing. I stared at the floor, letting the silence hang. Inside, I felt nothing but icy calm. Because every word, every taunt, every cruel demand was already recorded, time-stamped, streaming to the cloud. Marcus leaned down, his breath hot in my face. Say it. I swallowed hard, pretending to break. I don't understand why you're doing this. Dana scoffed. Because you're weak. And I want proof. I want people to see it. You think anyone would believe you if you cried to the cops? Please. You'll look like a coward, and Marcus will look like a hero. Everyone will know you're worthless. That was gold. Legal dynamite. She had no idea she was handing me the very noose she'd hang herself with. Marcus laughed. See, Jake, this is how it goes. You sit there, I show you up, and she records it all. That way, when you finally leave, she's got the story ready. Poor Dana, married to a loser. She moves on. You crawl away. Everybody wins. Everybody except them, I thought. Dana tilted her phone, speaking directly into the camera now. This is what happens when you settle for less. Don't make the same mistake I did, ladies. I almost laughed. She thought she was creating some viral clip for her little audience. She didn't realize she was creating evidence. Marcus shoved me again, this time pushing me back against the couch. Come on, stand up, weakling. Let's give her a real show. I forced myself to hesitate, to look nervous, but stood anyway. Not too fast, not too steady, just enough to sell the act. Dana clapped softly. Yes, this is perfect. Keep going. He looks terrified. I let my shoulders slump, let my eyes dart around the room. Playing the victim while inside, I was stone. Because I knew, the longer this went on, the deeper they dug their own graves. Marcus raised his fist, stopping just inches from my face. I didn't flinch. That seemed to throw him for half a second. But Dana squealed. Do it. Scare him. Make him beg. Marcus smirked, lowering his fist just enough to keep the tension alive. Beg, Jake. Beg me not to embarrass you. I let my voice crack. Please don't. Dana laughed so hard she nearly dropped her phone. Oh my God, this is even better than I imagined. She had no clue. No clue that her laughter was the soundtrack of her own downfall. The room reeked of their arrogance. Marcus puffing his chest like a predator. Dana circling me with her phone like a director on set. They thought they were unstoppable, untouchable. But what they didn't know was that their own words were the bullets I'd used to destroy them. And as I stood there, pretending to tremble, One thought kept me steady. The trap was almost closed. Marcus paced the living room like a showman, cracking his knuckles, flexing his muscles, basking in the moment. Dana followed him with her phone, circling me like I was prey, and she was the proud director of my downfall. "This is history, Jake," Marcus sneered. "The night you finally learned the truth. You're nothing. And the best part? You'll always remember that she chose me, right here, in your own house." Dana tilted her phone, zooming in on my face. "Look at him. Pathetic. This is going to blow up online. Maybe I'll post it tomorrow. Caption: Don't marry weak men." She laughed at her own joke, a cruel sound that echoed in my chest. I let my hands shake, my breathing hitch, playing the coward to perfection. "Please, Dana, you don't have to do this." "Oh, I do," she snapped, her eyes glittering with malice. "You wasted years of my life. Years pretending to be a man. Now, I get to show the world who you really are." Marcus smirked. "And after tonight, she won't even remember your name." I looked at him, wide-eyed, whispering, "You're really going to hurt me?" Dana rolled her eyes. "God, even the way you say it makes you sound pathetic. No wonder I needed someone else. Marcus is real. He takes what he wants. You beg." She turned back to her phone, speaking into the camera like she was addressing an audience. "Ladies, take notes. Never settle for a Jake. Always hold out for a Marcus." That line was so arrogant, so over the top, I nearly smiled. Marcus stepped closer, towering over me again. "You know what the best part is? You can't do a damn thing about it. You won't fight back. You won't call the cops. You won't tell your friends. You'll just crawl into your little shell, humiliated, while we move on." Dana nodded eagerly, her phone inches from my face now. "And I'll have the video to prove it. To laugh at, to remember. Maybe I'll even play it at family gatherings. Can you imagine? My mom watching you cry on screen? Oh my God, she'll love it." Marcus barked a laugh. "Damn, you're cold." Dana shrugged. "He deserves it." I lowered my head, hiding the flicker of a smile, because every single word was digging them deeper. Every boast, every insult, every smug declaration, all of it was evidence. But it wasn't time yet. I needed them to give me just a little more rope. So I stammered, You're not really going to show this to people, are you?" Dana's grin widened. "Of course I am. That's the point, Jake. To show the world what you really are. A weak, pitiful excuse of a man. And once it's out there, you'll never escape it." Marcus slapped his chest, grinning. "Meanwhile, she'll be with me. Everyone will see that too. Strong, confident, real. The kind of guy she deserves." Dana panned the camera from me to Marcus, capturing him like he was some kind of champion. "See? This is the upgrade, ladies. Out with the trash, in with the prize." She laughed again, high-pitched, gleeful, almost manic. And that's when I finally looked up, not as the broken husband, not as the victim, but as the man who already won. I let my lips curl into the faintest smile, just enough for her to notice. Her laugh faltered. "What's so funny?" she snapped. I met her eyes, and for the first time that night, my voice was calm, solid, unshaken. "You really think this is your show?" The silence that followed was sharp, cutting through the room. Marcus frowned, glancing at Dana. Dana lowered her phone slightly, confused. And in that tiny crack of doubt, the balance of power shifted. They just didn't know it yet. The room froze after my words. Dana lowered her phone a little, blinking in confusion. Marcus frowned, his fist still clenched, but his confidence wavering. "What the hell are you talking about?" he barked. I straightened my shoulders, finally dropping the act. No more trembling. No more slouching. My voice came out calm, steady, and terrifyingly sure. "I'm talking about the fact that you've been playing in my show, not yours." Dana's brows knitted. "What?" I gestured casually around the room. "The camera in the vent. The mic in the lamp. The smoke detector above your head. Every single word you two idiots just said, already recorded, already streamed, already saved." Her face drained of color. Marcus laughed nervously. "You're bluffing." I tilted my head. "Am I?" I pulled my phone from my pocket, pressed a button, and instantly their own voices filled the room. The playback of just minutes earlier. "Dana, I want proof. I want people to see it." "Marcus, you can't do a damn thing about it." "Dana, this is the upgrade, ladies. Out with the trash, in with the prize." The blood drained from Dana's cheeks as she heard her own words echoing back. "Turn that off," she screamed, rushing toward me. I held the phone high. It doesn't matter if I turn it off. It's already uploaded. It's safe. You just recorded your own confessions. Your threats. Your little plan to humiliate me. Marcus grabbed my shirt, trying to look menacing again, but I didn't flinch this time. Careful, I said quietly, my eyes locked on his. Every second you touch me is another charge. Assault, harassment, and given your little criminal record, that won't look too good in court. His grip loosened instantly. He knew I wasn't bluffing about that. Dana's hands shook as she held her phone, still recording, though now she seemed to realize the irony. Her own device had betrayed her. You set us up, she whispered. No, I corrected. You set yourselves up. All I did was give you the rope. You tied the knot. The silence was suffocating. Dana's breathing came quick and shallow. Marcus looked lost, like a fighter who'd just realized the match was already over before it began. I stepped closer to Dana, my voice low but sharp. You wanted to ruin me. You wanted to make me beg, to record me humiliated so you could laugh at me forever. Instead, you just recorded your own cruelty, your plan to trap me, your threats. And guess what? The law doesn't take that lightly. She shook her head, muttering, No, no, no. Marcus snapped, pointing a finger at me. Nobody's gonna believe you. I smirked. I don't need them to believe me. I've got your words, your faces, your voices. You handed me everything I need. For the first time all night, it was them who looked small. Marcus's chest deflated, his bravado crumbling. Dana's fake confidence dissolved into panic. Her phone slipped from her hand and clattered onto the floor. I leaned back against the couch, arms folded, calm as ever. So here's how this goes. You walk out of my house. Right now? Or we take this further. Police, lawyers, court. And when the world sees the video, the real video, it won't be me they laugh at. Dana stared at me, her mouth opening and closing like a fish gasping for air. You wouldn't actually. I cut her off. I would. And I already have. This isn't a threat. It's done. For a long moment, neither of them moved. Then Marcus cursed under his breath, storming toward the door. Dana stood frozen, torn between rage and fear. Get out, I said again, my tone final. She flinched, then hurried after him, her heels clicking against the floor. The door slammed. Silence followed. I exhaled slowly, my hands finally steady. For the first time in months, I wasn't the victim. I was free. The night after they left, I sat in the silence of my home. For the first time in months, it felt like my space again. Not their playground. Not a stage for my humiliation. Just mine. The next morning, I called my lawyer. We filed for divorce immediately, attaching every ounce of evidence I had. The recordings, the screenshots, the video of their little performance. He told me it was one of the easiest cases he'd ever seen. She won't just lose, Jake, he said. She'll burn. And he was right. The fallout came quickly. Dana tried to spin the story at first, crying, begging, saying it was all a misunderstanding. But the recordings didn't lie. Her own words betrayed her. When the court heard her laughter, her taunts, her plan to destroy me, there was no sympathy left. She lost the house. She lost money. She lost friends. The mask slipped, and everyone saw her for what she really was. Marcus? He didn't fare much better. When the police caught wind of his involvement, the threats, the intimidation, his criminal record, they opened a file. He was back on their radar, and trust me, that man won't be walking the streets so freely for long. But me? I walked away lighter, freer. It wasn't just about winning legally. It wasn't even about revenge, not fully. It was about reclaiming myself, my dignity, my life. I redecorated the house, threw out everything that reminded me of her. I even repainted the walls, bright colors that made the place feel new. I started cooking again, invited friends over, laughed, genuinely, for the first time in forever. And Emily? She stuck around. She wasn't just my ally. She became a real friend. Someone who reminded me what loyalty actually looks like. Whether it ever becomes something more or not doesn't even matter. For now, I'm just grateful. Looking back, part of me still can't believe how close I came to losing everything. How easily I could have been the broken man she wanted me to be. But instead, I turned the tables. Dana wanted me humiliated. Instead, she humiliated herself. Marcus wanted to prove he was the real man. Instead, he proved he was nothing but a thug. And me? I proved something to myself. That I'm stronger than I thought. smarter than they gave me credit for, and that no matter how deep someone tries to bury you, you can always rise back up. Now, I live differently. I don't ignore the red flags. I trust my gut. And most importantly, I know my worth. Because in the end, the night I was supposed to be the victim became the night I finally took my life back. And now, I want to hear from you. Did I do the right thing? If you were in my shoes, would you have done the same or something different? If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more crazy stories like this. Smash the like button if you think justice was served, and drop a comment below to tell me what you would have done. I'll be reading them all.